life is so much better when you get the compromise out, when you stop tolerating lower things. I wish I would have known this in my 20s, the amount of time wasted drinking alcohol or partying or just doing whatever. I know some people are like, well, you got to get it out of your system, but really it just steals your life. It robs you. And the older that I get, the more I realize, you just don't, I don't crave those lower things. I've learned to really level up my life in a lot of those areas and just not tolerate them, because you will never change if you continue to tolerate things. And it's like these cycles and these habits that are all linked to this lower way of living. So many people indulge in those things, and then they wonder why they're getting the results that they're getting, all the way down to like the littlest thing. Most of it is linked to your habits, your choices, and the patterns, the things you do consistently over time, over and over, day in and day out. Like, listen to the words that you say, listen to what you're speaking, listen to how other people are talking. God says to judge them by their fruits. I know everybody's like, don't judge, God's the only judge. Well, actually, he says we should judge them by their fruits. So fruits are how are they living? What are they saying? What's coming out of their mouth? You can tell a lot by a person by what they talk. Now, sometimes people are just struggling. They're going through a difficult time and they're sharing with you their problems. We all do that. That's normal. Where we go through periods of our life where we're discussing, trials or something, and maybe we're looking for some good advice. But you just have to be really careful with who you're sharing those things with, because you can be wanting advice, but then everybody's giving you their opinion. And if you share things with the wrong people, a lot of times those people will twist it, or they'll give you really bad advice. And if you're not discerning, you're going to do what they say, and it could not be godly wisdom. It could be coming from somewhere else. Like, I would rather walk with Jesus daily, have a relationship with him daily, than go back to being in a religious box and being, like, a lot of times when we're a part of a church, you end up worshiping the pastor. Like, if you look at some of these big churches, and I'm not saying they're all bad or whatever, but I'm saying if you took out the music or the musical groups, what would be left? A lot of these pastors are very prideful, and people are going through hard times. They're going through life challenges, things where they need practical advice on what to do day in and day out. What are the practical things? How do I navigate through my marriage? How do I work through raising kids? How do I become, this woman of virtue? How do I let go of things of the past? How do I do these things? And I find it's very difficult to find people who give you like practical advice. Like, well, break it down to like the most simplest form. How do I break from patterns and habits? Now, there's different levels of doing that, but what's like the first step? Give me the first step. Like, sometimes we just need to be like slapped around and told like, hey, you can do this one move at a time. You got this. You don't have to keep second guessing yourself. And sometimes it's not this big, huge mystical thing that a lot of times we're looking at like, oh, sometimes it is and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a big spiritual thing. I do believe we're all in a spiritual battle, and knowing that is obviously the first step. But a lot of times it's just simple things. It's like, well, you're not feeling well because you don't exercise, or because of what you're putting in your mouth. Like, sometimes it's not this big mystery. It's just, well, let's take a look at the obvious. You have to look there first. So I wish I would have known a lot of these things in my 20s, because I feel, gosh, you could be so much farther ahead. And so you don't want to live, not that I feel like I'm behind, but there's always areas that you wish you would have done better in, or you've grown in, or whatever. The key is to just get moving with where you're at right now. It doesn't really matter your age, because your age is based on a cellular level anyways. Your biological age is different. So you can make those decisions and choices at any moment, any day. Any day is like a fresh opportunity to say, hey, I'm going to start over. I'm going to make different decisions. these are some of the things that I've stopped doing, and they didn't happen all at once. They were, year over year, different things that I stopped tolerating it. So drinking, I was still kind of social, and by social I mean like 4 glasses of wine a year, which to me is social. In my 20s, it was definitely a weekend thing, if not more than that. And it was just normal to do that. You're going out, you worked all week, and then you get pretty drunk, and it just became normal, not really realizing that most of my problems were coming from that. My body, how I felt, being hungover, whatever. So, and obviously aging. So recently I just decided, well, why don't I just say no altogether? Why does it even need to be I don't mind it, it's an occasional thing. I just was like, no. So I just stopped doing that altogether, and now I don't drink. I don't crave it. I don't want it. And those are just things. It's so much easier if you just take it off the table. Take it off the table altogether, so it's not even an option anymore. It's not even on the table. Because if it's still on the table, a lot of those things, you're still it's like, well, I still enjoy it. But the closer that I get to God, the less I want those things. Not only because they're terrible for me, I just don't desire them anymore. Another thing that I stopped doing is I don't celebrate Halloween. I stopped probably 5 years ago. But even after that, I would still kind of be like, well, yeah, we'll, carve pumpkins and do little things and whatever. And I know, we're like, well, what's wrong with carving pumpkins? Personally, for me, I just decided I wanted nothing to do with it. So as the more that I grew in wisdom and discernment, the more I realized I want absolutely nothing to do with this. Took it right off the table. It's not even an option anymore. In fact, no Halloween candy, nothing involving Halloween or trunk or treat, or even what the church does. And again, it's my preference, but I just took it right off the table. So when you just take these things off the table, man, it's so much easier. It's like you could do this with anything, like specific things. For example, I used to thrift until I realized I was going to the thrift stores to find things. It was like you feel like you won when you find something of value, even though there's no value and you don't need it. But if you don't find something, you're like, oh well, it wasn't a very good thrift day, I didn't really find anything. Again, my experience. So I would go there expecting to find something. Oh, can you believe this? But if you put that thing in a regular store, you'd be like, oh, that's good junk, I don't want it. But because it's in a thrift store, all of a sudden it's worth something or whatever. So it's just this mind trick that you bought something you didn't need, and then you want to share with everybody, look what I got, and you don't need it. I just took it off the table. Like, why? I don't need this stuff. It'd be different if it was stuff that I need or I was going purposeful, but again, my habits and patterns would just keep me going because it was the thrill of the hunt of, oh, I need to go find this. So took it off the table. So it's not even a question anymore. It's not even an option anymore. And so when you start simplifying your life and taking these things off the table, one by one, you realize, wow, my life is so much more simple. It's like the other day we ran out of body lotion, and I had an extra one of a different brand, and I kind of felt guilty using it because it was like one of those fake natural brands. It wasn't really natural, and I just thought, gosh, I've grown so much that I feel guilty using, I think it was Native or something, I feel guilty using this one. I know it has false fragrances in it, and it's not good for us, but it was all I had under the sink. It's like a backup. And but I was using tallow for so long, and honey, and tallow and tansy cream that I found that really nourishes your skin, that I felt guilty using this other fake cream. It's like you just stop tolerating things. Like, I don't want to give my money to brands that say they're natural and they're not, they're fake. Like, I don't want to give my money to companies who don't hold my same values, and they hate me actually, but they want me to give them their money, give them my money. So when you just take these things off the table altogether, not only are you elevating your life, you're simplifying at the same time. You're coming up higher, you're coming up to a different level, you're coming up higher because you're raising your standards and you're raising what you're willing to accept, and you're not tolerating lower things. And it really puts things in perspective, like, it's just, you just don't tolerate those things anymore. It's just not even an option anymore. I don't know. So I just feel that if you are in a situation or you're in life and you're just like, all this, it's busy and it's chaotic, see what you can take off the table. What can you let go of? What can you simplify? Sometimes it's just moving things one by one to help you breathe a little. Like TV, that's another big one. We haven't had a TV in, I don't know, probably 5 years. And even before that, we only had it for streaming. So we haven't had any type of cable because I didn't agree with it and all the junk that was on there. I didn't want it in the background, and I didn't want my kids secretly seeing something that they shouldn't have. Even commercials were terrible. We just took it off the table. Well, why even have the temptation there to sit there and scroll through and, well, let's find something to watch, and something comes on that they're not supposed to see. We just got rid of it altogether. So you just take these things off the table altogether. And even if it's been introduced, like if you're like, oh, my kid plays video games all day, that's okay. Take it off the table if you have to for a while. So you stop compromising in areas that you know are not good. Now, my kids do play Nintendo Switch, so we homeschool, and it's hot out, and they like Mario, so that's their thing. And you try to control it as much as you can. Kids still need to have some fun. But what I'm saying is, like, what can you remove that you know is just not good altogether? Oh, here's another one. We used to eat out all the time. I would say in like 2022, I think I calculated how much we ate out, family of 5. Now, obviously things got a lot more expensive. So I think we were spending $800 to $1,000 a month just on eating out, because every meal was $150 for everybody. Well, we just stopped doing that altogether. We thought, why are we doing this? We're eating seed oils. It's making us fat. It's making us inflamed. And it's not benefiting. So now it's literally once a month, maybe. Sometimes we go 2 months without eating out. So we prep at home. We eat at home. We grill. We buy fresh things. We taught my daughter how to bake and cook. So now we do everything at home. And not only do we feel better, we look better, because we're not absorbing and consuming a bunch of seed oils, high calorie, foods, and it saves you money. So we just decided we'll just take it off the table. Why do that? It actually becomes easier and easier to simplify your life. At the beginning, you think it's hard. I could never go without, Netflix or eating out or whatever. I could never go without this. But you realize, yes, you actually can. And the more simple your life is, and the more simplified and peaceful your home is, the more you can connect with God on a level that's not distorted with fuzziness and chaos. It's just a clear connection. The more you have time to do things like walk and do YouTube videos, and your mind is clearer, so you can think clearer. You can make better decisions. You can do the things that you need to do without feeling so overwhelmed. I guess that's what I'm getting to. Now, of course, you can't get rid of every stressful thing or everything, but you can simplify quite a bit. I've done this in our closets. I've done it in our bathroom. I've done it in our home. I've done it with our cars, our belongings. Like, everything is simplified down to a level to where if I want to build from that, I can. You can always build up if you want. The only time of year that I really don't simplify is Christmas. I don't like a bare tree. I don't want a minimalistic tree. I want a bunch in the tree, a bunch of ornaments. I want it to be fun and festive and beautiful. And that just gives me an opportunity to really go overboard a little bit. It's fun and gets my creative juices flowing and things like that. But overall in life, and what's interesting is right after Christmas, I simplify and I do like a whole purge and kind of go through in a barren season. But leading up to Christmas, it's so fun to get all the decorations out. But I can do that because I've pulled back in so many other ways. It's not like I'm indulging all year round. I think that's the biggest thing, is not having self-control and indulging all year round, every season, every opportunity there is. You're going for it, and you're buying this and you're buying that, and you're eating out and you're drinking, and you're like, it's just too much. Sometimes you just have to pull back, get things under control a little bit, trim the fat, do a cleanse, do a detox. Like, detox your cabinet in your bathroom. How many face creams do you need, and what are the ingredients in those face creams? Can you replace it with 1 jar of tallow or something, that works, that's more natural? How many purses do you need? How many pairs of sunglasses do you need? Is it all necessary? And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having stuff. Of course, if you want to have a big closet, that's your thing. We all have things that we enjoy and that we love, and that we might collect or whatever. But I'm just saying, in life, simplifying, especially for a season, if you took 6 months and you really just simplified, said, I'm not going to tolerate this, that, and really just took all of those things off the table, they're not even options anymore. You'd be surprised at how much time you have, how clear you feel, how much energy you have, and it might even give you some excitement for life again. To do the things that you couldn't do before, because now you got time to do it. Don't forget to declutter your friends and relationships. That's a big one too. You're not going to be able to bring everybody with you. Some people are going to fight you more. They're going to go against, the changes that you're trying to make, and they're going to fight you on it. Let them go. Just let them go their way. You go yours, let them go theirs. Send them love, and then move on. But some areas that you can declutter. Okay, clothes. You can declutter your clothes. Books, magazines, papers, mail. What can you shred? Cups. I see women, they're buying these cup holders that stick to their fridge to put all of their Stanley cups in. I have one cup, one shaker cup. I wash it and reuse it, and that's it. I don't have 10 shaker ball cups or plastic cups. Simplify your kitchen. You don't need so many gadgets. And a lot of those big appliances and stuff, they're toxic. Air fryers and crock pots and panini makers, it's all toxic junk. Simplify. You can simplify your kids' stuff. Books, puzzles, toys, things they might not play with anymore. Bathroom products, of course. Shoes, accessories, purses, movies, DVDs, CDs, if you're still holding on to all of that. simplify. Let things go. If you love Christmas, hold on to your holiday stuff. That's what I do. That's one area where I keep my ornaments because I love them, but I'm not attached to every single one, and sometimes I let them go and rotate through. But you can simplify if you say, well, I'm not going to decorate for Halloween. Man, I used to have bins of stuff for Halloween and Valentine's Day and Easter, and for spring now I just do fresh flowers, and I put one bunny, maybe like a wooden bunny if I have. I think I actually got rid of it, so mostly just fresh flowers or faux flowers, whatever. So by not doing all the seasonal decorating and tablescapes and table settings and linens and stuff, gosh, it's just so much. And you have to think, yes, you might enjoy that, but how much time are you trading for that stuff? And how much of your life and your health are you trading for that? Because as you're digging through closets, you could be going for a walk, could be working out, could be doing something useful, but instead you might be just digging through your stuff. So it's just prioritizing, learning to let go. It's so much better to walk free and light. I'm telling you, it's better when you don't have a garage full of stuff or a storage full of stuff that's telling you got to deal with it at some point. Just let it go. Simplify. Enjoy.